Adhamaulipai Gurunamakrutiം स्मरेत् तेन विघ्नाः प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्ध्यन्ति च मनोरथाः ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवांसस्तनूभिः व्यसेम देवहितै यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति न बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ओम शांति 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 ओम अग्नेनय सुपताराये अस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्मज्जुहुरानमेन भो इष्टान्ते नम भुक्तिं विदेम ओम शांति 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 ओम ब्रह्मन् ब्राह्मणो ब्रह्मवर्चसी जायताम् आराष्ट्रे राजन्यः शूरैषभ्याधिव्याधि महारथो जायताम् दोग्ध्रीं धेनुर्वोढान्नड्वान् आसु सप्तिः पुरन्धिप्योषाधिष्णारतेष्ठाः सभेयो युवस्य यजमानस्य वीरो जायताम् निकामे निकामेन पद्यन्यो न वर्षतु फलवत्यो न भोषधयः पच्यन्तां योगक्षेमो न कल्पेताम् ओम शांति 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 ओम आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणचक्षुः स्तोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वो ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोतु अनिराकरणम् अस्तु अनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनिरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते महि सन्तु ते महि सन्तु ओम शांति 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 ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम नमस्ते
Beautiful. Thank you. Sri Ram. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Ajnanatimiraandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So we are in the Mundukhyopanishad trying to understand what is our Atma, what are the folds in our Atma, and how at all we are able to introspect ourselves and note down the Atma Swarupam. Because when once we know the Atma Swarupam, I think we can always check ourselves. But Atma is body, that body care, analysis, and anatomy, etc., is one department. And another department of philosophers is trying to note what is that Atma and what is that Atma, who is that Atma who is seated there, who is monitoring the entire activity of us. All these things are big curiosity for us. Moreover, you see, we have got a beautiful prarthana to Krishna. Yo antah pravisya mama vachamimam prasuptam sanjeevayati akhila shakti dharaswadhamnam pranannamo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam is Krishna Paramatma. So in Bhagavad Gita, we have that yo anta pravisya mama vachamimam prasuptam sanjeevayati. Sanjeevana karma is being done by Paramatma, and this point is very well analyzed by many rishis, by many munis. In Anugita and in Prashnopanishad, in other places, you notice that the Chaitanya Shakti at first will begin from the eye. So the moment you open the eye from your sleep, you are able to recognize the objects and look at the wristwatch or or a clock and note down the time, and then our clock starts. So, Surya Bhagavan is the Antaschakshu, and he gives you the vision. And therefore, we always make a prayer to that Surya. Namasavitre Jagadega Chakshushe Prasuti Sthijanasahetave Traimayaya Trigunatmadharine Virinchi Narayana Sankaratmane Anta. So, with this type of understanding, that is, the Mandukya Maharshi is little different than her father and his father, Mundaka Maharshi. And so we have two contrasting ideas, beautiful, but they're all wisdom. And next Sunday, 2 days after, we are having a great scholar from Delhi speaking about the Mundukhyopanishad. She has written a very good book on that and very published also. So we will be able to get hold of some important insights from Dr. Shashi Tiwari, the president of the World Association for Vedic Studies at Delhi, and for the past so many years. And at the same time, she is a professor of Sanskrit and written so many books. So we can listen to her from on the Mundaka Upanishad. But now we are going with the Mandukya so that we can have a, when we are listening to that, we can have a contrasting look between father and son, how they are able to provide us the wisdom. So there are only 12 mantras or verses in the Mandukya Upanishad. We have covered the 6 mantras. However, we notice that in the first instance, it is said Omkara. They talk about the Omkara because there is nothing extraneous to Omkara. Everything is merged and everything has emanated from Omkara, A-U-Ma. And there is that A-U-Ma aksharas have been identified, and they said that Akara is Rigveda, Ukara is Samaveda, and Makara is Yajurveda. And so, again, the same way, this Prithvi, Antariksha, and Swarga, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. So, like that, the Omkara has a large identifications, and therefore, in the very first sukta, sutra, we learned that Omkara is not limited to either Kala or any other things, but it is always Brahma. Brahma is not limited company, he is always present anywhere. All those Varan are all Brahmas, but there is one more Brahma who is able to study and keep watching the Brahma activity or people activity. And people are allowed to sleep 50 years, and only 50 years they are wakeful. And even among the 50 years, people are lazy, postponement, procrastination, and refusal. So many things are there. But anyway, Atma Brahma, Soyam Atma Chatushpada. It is a study analysis of the Atma. Atma Viveka, Atma Vichakshanata, and Atma understanding will take place. In fact, we have got many Shankaracharya, our Guru, has done a lot of important studies upon our Atma itself. And what he also talked about the Viveka, and his best magnum bonus book, one of that, is the Viveka Chudamani or Advaita Siddhi, etc. You observe all these books written by him are eye-openers for people who want to note down their own Atma, that inner Atma, which is having that. So the Antakaranas are there. All these Antakaranas, Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chittas, are importantly working with all people. So in the second mantra, we get to note down that Sarvam Etato Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. Soyam Chatushpa. This Atma is having four parts, and one is Jagrata Avastha, and Swapna Avastha, and then we have got Turiya Avastha, and further, and all that. So, in the third mantra, we note that Jagaritaha Sthanaha Bahishprajnaha Saptanga, Bahishprajnaha Jagarita. So, when you are wakeful, then you are aware of anything in the world going on. A cockroach is going, you will be observing the cockroach only, or any object of your attraction, you will not stop but go with that attraction. This is the world, this is what we call as Jagrata Avastha. Then it's all Bahiprajna. But Jagrata Avasthalli Bahiprajna iddaga, then that is it, engagement, engrossment. Generally, Bahyam Janati Najanati. So Yajnavalkya Maharshi beautifully says that ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯ ಸಂಪರಿಶ್ವಕ್ತಃ ಬಾಹ್ಯಂ ನ ಜಾನಾತಿ ಪುರುಷಃ ಅಂತ. ಈ ಬಾಹ್ಯ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಹೊರಟೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ವಿಧವಾದ ಅತಿ ಆನಂದ ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಆನಂದ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಆಸ್ ವಿ ಸಿ ದಿ ಆನಂದ ಮೀಮಾಂಸಾ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಉಪನಿಷತ್, ತೈತ್ರೇಯ ಉಪನಿಷತ್. ಬಟ್ ಎನಿವೇ, ದಿ ಮಾನುಷಾನಂದ maximum is seen when you are wakeful. That's why Ratirhi Manushyanam Paramanandaha anta. So these are all ಬಾಹಿ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So that people will say that, and all our rishis and munis and the gurus say that, grow inward. When once you go to inward, it's a samudram. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಮನಸ್ಸು ಇದೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇದೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ವೆನ್ ಯು ಪೀಪಲ್ ಡೂ ಯೋಗ ಫಾರ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್, ದಿ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಯು ಟು ಡೂ ಶೀತಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಣಾಯಾಮ, ವೇರ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ಟಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ಡೌನ್ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್, ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಚ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್, and that cools the entire body and so on. So that like that, here the Bahya Prapancha is one. Now in the fourth sloka or mantra, he talks about the Swapna. And what is the Swapna Sthana? Andre avaga Antaprajnaha iti yapradaha. See, there is a knowledge inside us. Everybody has got knowledge. Everybody has got a talent. Paramatma is not a stupid, and he has given one or the other talent for the jiva before he dispatched into the womb of the mother, and from that womb of the mother, the jiva is being delivered, and in between, during that time, that jiva will inherit certain qualities of father, mother, and apart from other karma, vasana, etc., that he carries in it. That's why the jiva born out is an entity having the antaprajna and bahiprajna. ಈ ಬಹಿಪ್ರಜ್ಞದಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ we don't progress. People, no guru will help you. So we require to get into our antaprajnas. That is, even in swapna, we should have a wonderful experience. And so the spear of and that swapna avastha is said to be the taijasam. That is, there is one kind of tejas. The sphere of activity is dream state. And so ಆ ತೇಜಸ್ಸು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎರಡನೇದಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. And in the third we have covered, and the next one is called as, and ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ವರ್ಸ್ ಟೆಲ್ಸ್ ಯು ಯತ್ರ ಸುಪ್ತಃ ನ ಕಂಚನ ಕಾಮಯತೆ ನ ಕಂಚನ ಸ್ವಪ್ನಂ ಪಶ್ಯತಿ ತತ್ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಸ್ಥಾನ ಏಕೀಭೂತಃ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾಘನ ಏವ ಆನಂದಮಯಃ. ಈ ಆನಂದ ಭುಕು Cheto Mukha Prajna Strutiya Padaha. So this Strutiya Pada also we have sufficiently understood, but we cannot go there because there are so many people who try to spend a lot of time explaining all these verses because they are pregnant with intelligence and wisdom and pratibha. So, depending upon the pratibha, vyutpatti, and the knowledge, the Swamijis and people who are with it in philosophy, but fortunately or unfortunately, I have not philosophy PhD, philosophy MA or all that. I never studied philosophy separately. But whatever little knowledge we have from the Vedic studies, we are just trying to imagine that what would happen in this during the dream state is it's a deep sleep where the sleeper does not desire any objects, he will not see anything, he will himself only will be experiencing. And all the dreams that generally one gets is like the white clouds and the white patches of clouds that you see plenty. The clouds are there, but they are not there. So they are there, they are not there. So like that, it is all. But anyway, the homogeneous mass of consciousness entirety, and so the dream and the waking state are being covered in the next mantra. In the next mantra, sixth also, you see, Yeshaha Sarveswaraha, Yeshaha Sarvajnaha, Yeshaha Antaryami, Yeshaha Yonihi, Sarvasya Prabhava, Sarvasya Prabhavapi Ayo, Yahi Bhutanam. So, Paramatma is Atma Swarupa. Atma Vai Putranamasi is one, and Atma is having many manifold manifestations, and so we always refer to the individual to the Atma because there is one mantra as we know that Vang me manasi pratisthita mano me vache pratishthitam aviravihi. ಈ ಮಂತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಮೈಂಡ್ and what is your mind is your speech and what is your speech is mind, so you cannot disconnect. So here similarly bhutanam prabhavaha api apyayau hi bhutanam. So again that fellow, the lord of all this, is the knower, is the inner controller, is the source of all, and he will, from him only everything originate, and ultimately he or everybody dissolves themselves into that. Therefore, he is a prabhavaha and he is a layaha. For example, if you see Ganapati Atharva Sirsha Upanishad or Surya Atharva Sirsha Upanishad or Narayana Atharva Sirsha Upanishad or even Devi Upanishad Atharva, in all these what you see that Laya and Srishti both are from Paramatma, and what is created he will have to withdraw. So withdrawal is there, projection is there. Thereby we cannot be independent or do anything with that. We have nothing freedom. We are just dependent. Something like, see, Paramatma, Surya Bhagavan, so Hima, he will give you the snow. But can any machine clear the snow totally? No. Again, the person who gave you snow, who gave you the clouds to rain, and all that, he only has got to withdraw. So the projection and withdrawal both are there, and therefore he is simply beyond Sarveswaraha, Sarvajnaha, Ishvara. He is the Lord, controller, monitor, and discipliner, etc. And Sarvajnaha, there is nothing not known to him. That's why when you make a prayer to say Agne na yasupatha raye asman vishwani deva vayunani vidwan anuvaga vishwani vayunani vidwan deva Agne. So Agni knows the destinies of A, B, C, D and Z. And again, the same idea is there for Pushan Devata. So ಸ್ವಸ್ತಿನಃ ಪೂಷಾ ವಿಶ್ವವೇದಾಹ. ಈ ವಿಶ್ವವೇದಾಹ ಅನ್ನುವ ವೇದ ಅಂದರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ. ಸೊ ವಿಶ್ವಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೀ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ರೋಡ್ ವಾಚ್. ಎವ್ರಿ ವಾಚ್ ಹೀ ಈಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ದೇರ್ ಫೋರ್ ಪೂಷಾನ್ಸ್ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಈಸ್ ನೆಸರಿ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. And moreover, he is also there constantly working inside our body. That's why he is called the Antaryami. So he is a submarine. Like you don't, it's hard for us to spot the submarines in the ocean. How deep they are going, we don't know. So there is also even war or anything important to take place. So the submarines are being used. So they go inside the water deep down and you observe. Therefore, and many people don't know, they have not seen, but I have the fortune of opportunity to go into the submarine and look at how comfortable or how difficult it is in a submarine which will go inside the water. And so many facilities are being kept in that machinery. So man's brain or intelligence is simply amazing, astonishment. That's why we have got Dhiyo Yona Prachodayatu Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So you say Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. What a beautiful. And also Sarva Chaitanya Rupam Tam Adhyam Shaktim Cha Dhimahi Naha Buddhi Prachodayat. Anavaga, this is exactly coming out from the Antaryami. That's why we make a prayer, Antastishtatu Amrutasya Gopaha. What is the job that you are assigning to the Rudra, the Ishvara? And when you do Mahanyasa, for example, there it is among all nyasas, Mahanyasa is top, supreme, where you completely become Rudra and Rudra becomes completely you. Then you enter into the magnetic field of performing the Abhishekam. That's exactly what you say that. So, na Rudro Rudra Marchayet. Unless you become Rudra, you cannot up. Because they're all highly tensioned power sources. So, the Antarmyami Anovaga, there is somebody who is doing all these things. That's why, for example, Durga Kavacham or Shiva Kavacha Stotram, these Kavacha Stotras are very significant because they are there taking hold of the governance of the respective parts inside our body. For example, in this in Kavacha Stotram of Durga Parameswari, I have explained when we are with the Durga Saptasati. There are about more than 60 human parts inside the body named. And in the Ajurveda, 90 and odd parts of human anatomy are being mentioned. And in Aswamedha Yaga of this Ajurveda, there are 121 parts of the anatomical parts of the horse have been mentioned. So ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಈ ಅಂತರ್ಯಾಮಿ ಅನ್ನುವಾಗ he has got a double, triple, multitudinous responsibility to be able to monitor and make everything. Simply if you go to a doctor, he will say ultrasound ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಈ ultrasound is different and looking at the sound only people are able to diagnose. Normal sounds ಇರುವಾಗ heart beats ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೆ it's the angina. When you take that when it is the curves are normal, oh, your heart is working good. ಈ ತರಹ. ಬಟ್ ಅಂತರ್ಯಾಮಿ ಅನ್ನೋನಿಗೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಆ ತರಹ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ there is that's what is said, Yeshaha Antaryami. And moreover, Yonihi, he is the source for all these things. That is, nothing can come out without a origination. So, to find the origin itself is a big investigation. In other words, it is called the diagnosis. So, ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಅಲರ್ಜಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ, simply doctors will say anything anything under sun is allergy ಅಂತಾರೆ. Or simply they say that, oh, it's a virus, viral allergy or not. Whatever it is, nobody knows it. But even the Yoni Prabhavaha also is Paramatma. And ultimately, having named A, B, C, D, E, then ultimately says Sarvasya Prabhavaha Bhut. Sarvasya Bhutanam Prabhavaha Ayohi. So, ಇವನು ಅಲ್ಲಾಗ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ this kind of universality and all omniscience, etc., of that Antaryami is being marked in this sloka number 5. That means it's all Atma study only. Because now Atma Gnana, Atmodharana, Atma Trupti, and Atma Paryavekshana, and Atma Sakshatkara, etc., Atma Jyoti, Atma Agni. The other day, sometime back, I became very much curious as to know what are the attribution for this Atma Shabda. Because everything comes and joins the Atma and makes us to understand what is this Atma at all. So that's why ultimately what is Atma Sakshatkara. That's exactly what Shiva is doing. What is Lord Rudra closing the eye? Be always in meditation. All this meditation is to result into discovery of your own self. Atmanam Vedi. Atmana Atmanam Veda. See, Kalidasa in Kumara Sambhavam elsewhere says that what is Shiva doing by closing his eyes? Atmani Atmanam Pasyantam Sadasivam Bhajayantar. So Atmani Atmanam Pasyantam andre Atma is a tool, Atma is the goal. Yajna is the tool, Yajna is the goal. So beautiful, is it not? Therefore, Sarvasya Bhutanam Prabhavaha Sarvasya Yonihi, Sarvasya Antaryami, Sarvasya Sarvajna, Sarvasya Sarveswara. Sense is beautifully given that, so there is nothing extraneous. So creation, dissolution, or creation, annihilation. So sarve layam ayasyanti. Because, for example, a mechanic, radio mechanic, he claiming himself, if he's able to take out all parts, disconnect and disassemble all those things, again he will not know which part must be fixed elsewhere. So assembly birthday idre, no, it's a problem. But Ishvara is one who knows to create, project, and knows to. I had one radio repairer. I remember my father had purchased one radio, and that radio repairer came to our house, and he just removed all the parts inside that radio, all ಆಕಾರದ radio, not no. And ಎಲ್ಲ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇದೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕು ಸರ್ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೊರಟೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. But he never turned up for so many days. Then I had to carry all of them to the shop of the fellow, and then say that, what Babu, you are doing it. Sir, I'm sorry, I don't know how to assemble this a peculiar radio. I'm not familiar with that. Imagine. So that is not a sarvajnatvam or some completeness. If you can close it up, open it. If you cannot close it up, don't open it. So this is how Paramatma is one who knows to open, who knows to close, and who knows what is in between the opening and closing also. Therefore, this is the sixth mantra, tells us that the Atma Swarupam is Atmani Atmanam Pasyantam. And when you go to the seventh verse, we have also explained last class, the seventh mantra. However, again we'll have a review, and I just read it. Nanta pragnam na bihish pragnam no bhayataha pragnam na pragnanaghanam na pragnam na pragnam adrushtam avyavaharyam agrahyam alakshanam achintyam avyaya ishyama sorry, achintyam avya pada vyamekam atma pratyaya saram prapanchopasamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtham manyante satma vigneya. So you can understand that Atma is this. That is, it is really something which is not open for our easy comprehension and understanding. But although we have all this equipment instilled in us by Paramatma when we are dispatched into the world. Otherwise, when once you get on to the seat of or to the feet of great rishis, all rishis are able to untie the guardian knot. And if at all, that's what is the philosophical. Actually, philosophy is something very difficult. Somebody was telling when I was in the universities, a philosopher is he who wants to search for a black cat in a pitch darkness. ಸೊ ದಿ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಡಾರ್ಕ್ನೆಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟನೋ ದೇ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಬಟ್ ಎ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಐ and remaining in the pitch darkness, don't know. So that is how the philosopher. And again, and our another professor, Dr. A.N. Upadhyay, he was also a great professor of Sanskrit, and he was telling where all the where religion stops, philosophy begins. So philosophy comes to the rescue of the religion, and therefore we always combine religion and philosophy. In fact, there is one society, Religion and Philosophy Society, and there is a journal also. And I happened to attend a conference in the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. sometime by presenting a paper on Vedic religion. So then I was able to meet so many scholars and talking about the philosophy and Upanishads and other different religious people have come and marked their paddhati and their understanding and their religion. But ultimately, what would be the explanation for all this religious behavior is philosophy. So like that, here, Atma savigneyaha chaturtham manyante satma savigneyaha. So if at all you want to look at the fourth level of the Atma, then you should be able to cross over the doors. Something like when you want to go have a darshan of Tirumala Balaji, Venkatramana Swami, there are Sapta Dwaras and Sapta mountains. See, there are 7 mountains and 7 doors to our great Balaji. And even today, there are people are exploring more money in the TTT people. There are tickets issued up to first Dwaram Darshanam, second Dwaram Darshanam, third Dwaram Darshanam. So when you cross all the 7 Dwaras, then only you will see the Netra Darshanam clearly of the Paramatma. ಸೊ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಂದರೆ ಈ ಆತ್ಮ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಚತುರ್ಥಂ ವಿಜ್ಞೇಯಂ. ಈ 7 ದ್ವಾರಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ದಾಟಿ ಹೋದರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ನಾರಾಯಣೀಯಂ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇನ್ 8th Dashakam or something like that, there is a Vaikuntha Varnana given by Bhattatiri and beautiful. So in fact, Krishna takes Arjuna to Vaikuntham, showing his own house. And so the Narayana is staying in Vaikuntham. And how will be the Vaikuntham, how many dwaras are there, and all that is picturesquely, in brief, described by our Bhattatiri in the one of the Dasakas earlier, maybe seventh or eighth, I don't remember now. So, under ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? ವೈಕುಂಠಾಯ ವಿಕುಂಠಾಯ ಕೇಶಿಕಂಠಾಯ ಕಂಠಿನೇ ಕಂಠೀರವಾಯ ಲುಂಠಾಯ ನರಸಿಂಹಾಯ ತೇ ನಮಃ ಅಂತ ನರಸಿಂಹಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ. ಸೊ ಹೀ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಹೂ ಈಸ್ ಅ ವೈಕುಂಠವಾಸಿ ಅನ್ನುವಾಗ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಆತ್ಮ ವೇರ್ ಆಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಟು ವೈಕುಂಠಂ. ದೇರ್ ಫೋರ್ ಆ ವೈಕುಂಠ ಏಕಾದಶಿ ಅಂತ a special Ekadasi, what Trayodasi, but among 12 Ekadasis, 24 Ekadasis, we have got one Ekadasi specifically named as Vaikuntha Ekadasi. And all people go in queue to have darshan of Mahavishnu, Venkatramana, or so, and go through the Uttaradwaram, and that's supposed to be Vaikuntha Dwaram. So, hange illi, I mean, solve my imagination, please, and my thinking. So, Atma Ditiyaha Vigneyaha Chaturtham Manyante. What is that? Na. So, Prajna, Bahishprajna, Anta Prajna, Ubhayadaha Prajna. And then to be aware of the outside and inside. Bahihi Antaha. ಈ ಬಹಿಹಿ ಅಂತಹ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಇದ್ರೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಸೆಟ್ ಆರ್ ಟಿ ವಿ ಸೆಟ್. ದೆರ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಮ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್. ಸೊ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ವೆನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್, ವೆನ್ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ವಾಸ್ ಬ್ರಾಡ್, ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಅವರ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಹೂ ಈಸ್ ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದಿ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಸಿಂಗಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಸಾಂಗ್. ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಸಿ ದೆಮ್, ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಹಿಯರ್ ದಿ ವಾಯ್ಸ್. And unless there's somebody sitting and working. So these are all some kind of questions inside. But Bahishprajna, that we are listening to the sound. Antaprajna, we don't know who is sitting, who is singing. So ultimately all this prajna is being solidified. When prajna is liquidation, it is very difficult to catch. But ಅದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಉಂಟೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ ಲಡ್ಡು ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಬೂಂದಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿ ದಿ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ಅದು ಹಂಗೆ ದೇ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಗಿವ್ ಟು ಬೂಂದಿ ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ದೇ ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಉಂಡ, ಆ ಲಡ್ಡು ಉಂಟ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಅದು ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಸಿ, ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಲೈಕ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಈಸಿ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಡ್. ದೇರ್ ಫೋರ್ ಅದು ಘನಂ, ಸಾಲಿಡಾರಿಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಶೇಷ ಜ್ಞಾನಂ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಜ್ಞಾನಂ, ಪ್ರಶೇಷ ಜ್ಞಾನಂ. ವಾಟ್ ಡು ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ದ್ಯಾಟ್? So just now I recited one beautiful Guru mantra, Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjanatil Salakaya Chachurunmilitam Yena Anta. So ಈ ಅಜ್ಞಾನಾಂಜನ ಶಲಾಕ ಅಂತಾರಲ್ವ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಘನಂ. ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ಈ ಶಲಾಕ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಮ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಟು ದಿ ಐ ವೆನ್ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಐ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಆದರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಎಂಬ ಆಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ಗುರುಗಳು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಆ ಆಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ಹಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ವೃದ್ಧಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್, ಏನಪ್ಪ ಆರ್ ಯು ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಯು ಫರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಇನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಹಾಲ್. ಅಯ್ಯೋ ನಾನು 10 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸು ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗಬಹುದೇ, ಆದರೆ ಒಂದು 4-5 ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಬಂತು, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸು. ಬಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ 10 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಅದೃಷ್ಟ, ಅವರ ಸಂತೃಪ್ತಿ ಬೇರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಘನಂ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಂ ನ ಅಪ್ರಜ್ಞಂ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಕಾನ್ಷಿಯಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೋಯಿಂಗ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ನೋಯಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಇಗ್ನೊರೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಬ್ಲಿಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಇಗ್ನೊರೆನ್ಸ್ is a danger. Sometimes knowledge is a bliss. sometimes knowledge is a danger. For example, ಇವಾಗೇನು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಟ್ಯಾಬ್ಲೆಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸು ಗೂಗಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸರ್, ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಔಷಧ ಅಥವಾ ಟ್ಯಾಬ್ಲೆಟು ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ. ದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸೇ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೂಗಲ್. When I give you the tablet, take it. One tablet will be useful for many things. And one of them may be also yours. So don't bother. I am responsible because doctors are highly responsible to otherwise in America sue ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. And so that's why they cannot just accept patients unless they study the problem. There are doctors who refuse to treat certain complaints of the people, for example, skin problems. So we have no facility for that. And so there are some people who are clear beforehand. So that's what called I don't have knowledge about that. Pragnam and apragnam. So one has to be very much careful whenever you accept and go to meditation. And adrushtam and avyavaharyam. ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ಸು. ಸಿ ಟು ಅದೃಷ್ಟಂ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸೀನ್, ಅವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜಬಲ್. Actually, adrushta also is happiness and fortune. And those which we have not seen would be able to become visible to you when you are in dream. ನಾವು ಸ್ವಪ್ನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತ್ಯಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ಯಾವ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡದೇ ಇರ್ತೀವೋ ಅದನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವಪ್ನದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸಪೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಲೂಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮಚ್ ಲೈಕಿಂಗ್, ಅದು ಹುಡುಕಿ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕನಸಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಬಂದರೆ ಆವಾಗ ಆ ವಸ್ತು ನೀನು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಾಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಅಂಡರ್ನೀತ್ ದ ಬೆಡ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್, ಆ ತರಹ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟ್ರೂ. ಬಟ್ ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಅದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. Nala and Damayanti is a grand example, as Priyarsha in Naishadam describes. Nala saw Damayanti and Damayanti was seen by Nala, and so they loved each other and they wanted to become a couple. And so that Nala Damayanti Vivaha is a great instance. They are able to share everything together. Nala Maharaja and Damayanti, they are Chakravartis. Even today we remember Nala. ಕರ್ಕೋಟಕಸ್ಯ ನಾಗಸ್ಯ ದಮಯಂತ್ಯ ನಲಸ್ಯ ಚ ಋತುಪರ್ಣಸ್ಯ ರಾಜರ್ಷೇ ಕೀರ್ತನಂ ಕಲಿನಾಶನಂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಪಾಪಗಳು ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ನಲಮಹಾರಾಜನ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ದಮಯಂತಿನ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ಸನಾತನ ಧರ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ದೇರ್ ಫೋರ್ ಅದೃಷ್ಟಂ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವ್ಯವಹಾರ್ಯಂ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವ್ಯವಹಾರ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಅಂದರೆ ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್, ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಜ್ಞಾನ, ಹೌ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್, ಹೌ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಪೀಪಲ್, ಹೌ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಎ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಎಸ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಡಿಗ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಏರ್ಕ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಟ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ, ಕಾರ್ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಟೈಪ್ ರೈಟರ್ ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಟೈಪ್ ರೈಟರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನೋ ದಿ ಟೈಪ್ ರೈಟರ್ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್. So there used to be a test in mechanism of the typewriter at the same time on typewriter speed. So hange ಈಗ ಅದೃಷ್ಟಂ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ they don't matter for your atma. And again grahyam agrahyam, that is that you can catch, and agrahyam cannot be. Lakshanam cha achintyam. So achintyam means it is beyond your imagination. Actually, there is no wall for our imaginations, but everybody has got imagination wall. But there are great Mahakavis. They can just imagine anything in the world and depict in their kavyas. Best one is the Kalidasa. See, Kalidasa is known as a wonderful poet. Pura Kavina Galna Prasange ಕನಿಷ್ಠಿಕಾಧಿಷ್ಠಿತ ಕಾಳಿದಾಸ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಅಮಾಂಗ್ ಕವಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಳಿದಾಸ ಆಕ್ಯುಪೈಸ್ ದಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೇಮ್ 1 2 3 4. ಸಿ ಅನಾಮಿಕಾ ಸಾರ್ಥವತಿ, ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಟು ಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಕಾಳಿದಾಸ. ದೇರ್ ಫೋರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಮಹಾಕವಿ. ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, if you read his works, you will get to know that all these explanations and elucidations are all these things. So ಅಗ್ರಾಹ್ಯ ಲಕ್ಷಣಂ ಅಚಿಂತ್ಯಂ. ಆದರೆ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ, ಸೆವೆಂತ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಭೂಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಋಷಿಗಳು ಮುನಿಗಳು ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೆಂಗೆ ತಪಸ್ಸು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇಸ್ ಎ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಮುನಿಗಳು ಋಷಿಗಳು ಅಂತರಿಕ್ಷ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ತಪಸ್ಸು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಮರೀಚ್ ಮಹಾಮುನಿ, he was having ashrama in the antariksha loka, whereat the Matali, the charioteer of the Indra, made a stop and took him to the ashrama in the antariksha loka. And while he was going to the ashrama of Maricha, and because Dushyanta is a Maharaja, Chakravarti, and those and our Indian kings, Chakravartis, they had interloka travels. ಈ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಎನಿ ಮಹಾರಾಜ ಕುಡ್ ಗೋ ಟು ಅದರ್ ಲೋಕಾಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಇಂದ್ರ ಇನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಟಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿನ್ ಲಾರಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ಸೊ ಎನಿವೆ, ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಶಬ್ದ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನಿಂಗ್ ಲಾಂಗ್. ಬಟ್ ಎನಿವೆ, ಅವ್ಯವಹಾರ, ದೆನ್ ಅಚಿಂತ್ಯಂ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವ್ಯಪದೇಶ್ಯಂ, ಏಕಾತ್ಮ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಯಸಾರಂ, ಪ್ರಪಂಚೋಪಶಮನಂ, ಶಾಂತಂ, ಶಿವಂ, ಅದ್ವೈತ. ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗತ್ತಂದ್ರೇನು, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಉಪಶಮನ. ಉಪಶಮನ ಇಸ್ ಅಬ್ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಪೀಸ್. ಅಬ್ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಪೀಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಉಪಶಮನಂ. ಶಾಂತಂ, ಪೀಸ್. ಶಿವಂ, ಫೇವರಬಲ್. And Advaitam, no, two things get mixed up. How is that Advaitam? If you look at the railway lines, and at the farthest distance, you see the trains, two lines are merging one agbidutte. Similarly, when you look at the sky and the earth at distance, you see that both of them are touching. When you are traveling in the waters, ocean, there also you see that ocean and the sky are meeting. So idella kuda Advaita examples. That is, though it looks Dvaita, but ultimately it becomes one. And that exactly is what the Chaturtham Manyante Atma, essentially by all of the self alone. So people consider that to be the Atma. Chaturtham Manyante Atma. So now 8, 9, we get further analysis of the Atma. So Atma Swarupam, and otherwise it is called as Swaswarupa Darshanam. In fact, I remember ಲಲಿತಾ ಪರಮೇಶ್ವರಿಯ ಸ್ವಸ್ವರೂಪ ದರ್ಶನವನ್ನು ಏನು ಅಂತ ವಿಜುವಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವ ಮಹಾನುಭಾವ, ಮಹಾ ಉಪಾಸಕ ಅದ್ದೇಪಲ್ಲಿ ಮಂಗಯ್ಯ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಕಾಕಿನಾಡದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾತಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಹಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ಶ್ರೀಚಕ್ರ ಪೂಜಾ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಮಹಾಮೇರು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಹಾಕಾಳಿ ಉಪಾಸನ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವೇರಿಂಗ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಯಾರಿ, ನಾಟ್ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಕಾಳಿ ಉಪಾಸಕ ಅವರು. And I had the opportunity of meeting him in Kakinada long years back and spent some time. He was so much pleased with me. And so he gave all his small books. I ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವ ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ there is one ಲಲಿತಾ ಪರಮೇಶ್ವರಿಯ ಸ್ವಸ್ವರೂಪ ದರ್ಶನಂ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಬುಕ್ಲೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸ್ವಸ್ವರೂಪ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಫಾರಮ್, ಬಾಡಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಡೀಪರ್ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್. ನೌ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಗೋ ಟು ದಿ 8th ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಆರ್ 8th ಮಂತ್ರ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಋಷಿ ಇಸ್ ಸೋ ಡೀಪ್ ದಟ್ ಮಾಂಡುಕ್ಯ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜ್ಞಾನದಂದ್ರೇನು, ದೇವತಾ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಇದೆ. God has left them in their imagination to go any far distance. It is something like Goda Hai, Maidan Hai. Supposing a good rider, if he has got a horse and ground, he can make any number. He's very free to make the horse run to his liked speed and liked distances, etc. So, like that, the Atma is again is very much free, no boundaries. And again, in the eighth mantra, you observe that Atma is again coming back to the Omkara. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಪ್ರಣವೋಪಾಸನ ಮಾಡಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಓಂಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದು ಯಾವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದು ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆಯೋ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಓಂಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಹಾನ್ಯಾಸಂ, ದಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಂತ್ರ ಈಸ್ ಓಂಕಾರ ಮಂತ್ರ ಸಂಯುಕ್ತಂ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ಧ್ಯಾಯಂತಿ ಯೋಗಿನಃ ಕಾಮದಂ ಮೋಕ್ಷದಂ ತಸ್ಮೈ ನಕಾರಾಯ ನಮೋ ನಮಃ. ಈ ಪಂಚಾಂಗನ್ಯಾಸ ಬಿಗಿನ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪಂಚಮುಖ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸಂಪುಟೀಕರಣ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ರೌದ್ರೀಕರಣಂ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆತ್ಮರಕ್ಷಾ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಶಿವಸಂಕಲ್ಪ. ಈ ತರಹ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಹಾನ್ಯಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಚೀಫ್ ಮಂತ್ರ ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಶಿವ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಮೂಲ ಮಂತ್ರ ಓಂ ನಮಃ ಶಿವಾಯ. ಸೊ ಓಂ ನಮಃ ಶಿವಾಯ ಅನ್ನುವಾಗ ನಕಾರ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್, ಯಕಾರ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್. ಸೊ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಲೆಟರ್ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ, ಮೆಡಿಟೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಸಿಂಪಲಾಗಿ ಬೋಧಾಯನ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಮಹಾನ್ಯಾಸ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಈಸಿ ಥಿಂಗ್, ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಚ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಎಜುಕೇಟಿಂಗ್. ಓಂಕಾರ ಮಂತ್ರ ಸಂಯುಕ್ತಂ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ಧ್ಯಾಯಂತಿ ಯೋಗಿನಃ. Yogins always meditate upon the Omkara. And every mantra you start uttering is beginning from the Omkara. Om Agne, Om Indra Ayahi. So here every mantra begins with Omkara. Every sloka begins with Srikara. Sri Manohara Surarchita Sindhu Gambhira Bhaktavatsala Koti Bhanu Teja ಭೂಷಣ ವಿಕಾಸ ಶ್ರೀಧರ್ಮಪುರ ನಿವಾಸ ದುಷ್ಟ ಸಂಹಾರ ನರಸಿಂಹ ದುರಿತ ದೂರ. ಸೊ ಶ್ರೀಕಾರ. ಸೊ ಶ್ರೀಕಾರದಿಂದ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಕಲ್ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳು ಓಂಕಾರ. ನಿತ್ಯಂ ಧ್ಯಾಯಂತಿ ಯೋಗಿನಃ. ಅಂಡ್ ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ಧ್ಯಾಯಂತಿ ಯೋಗಿನ. ಸೊ ಕಾಮದಂ ಮೋಕ್ಷದಂ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಕಾಮ ಈಸ್ ಅವಿದ್ಯ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವಿದ್ಯದಿಂದ ಈ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವ ಸುಖಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. If not today you are enjoying the fruits of our punyam, tomorrow we will be able to enjoy it. So adyava kalantareva phaleshu magna bhavanti. Kalidasa. So see adyava, so yugantareva, ಯಾವಾಗನ್ನ ಆಗಲಿ ಮಾಡಿರುವ ಪುಣ್ಯ ಪಾಪ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Nobody can escape it. So here also Kamadam, Mokshadam also. Moksha is Advaitam. And then you become one with the God. Sarupya, Sayujya, and Samanata. And ultimately, Sayujya is important. Sarupyata is important. Valla Mokshada layouts. Adrinda, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 8th ಮಂತ್ರ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೋಯಮಾತ್ಮ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಂ ಓಂಕಾರಂ ಅಧಿಮಾತ್ರಂ ಪಾದಾ ಮಾತ್ರಂ ಮಾತ್ರಶ್ಚ ಪಾದಾ ಅಕಾರ ಉಕಾರ ಮಕಾರ ಇತಿ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಓಂ ಕಂಬೈನ್ಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಕಾರ ಉಕಾರ ಮಕಾರ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಾಟ್ ದಿ ಅಕ್ಷರ ಅಕಾರ, ಉಕಾರ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಕಾರ. ಸಿ ಆತ್ಮ ಈಸ್ ಓಂ, and it is Atma is combined with the syllables Akara, Ukara and Makara. And that's to say, all the 3 Vedas are inside us, all the 3 Lokas are inside us, all the Panchabhutas are inside us, and all Trimurtis are inside us, and there is nothing extraneous to the human being. And human being is the content fully with all those things for which we are all hankering or going on. What you are going outside becomes inside. It's exactly in Upanishad. He said, Ardram jvalati jyotirahamasmi, yohamasmi brahmaivahamasmi, Ahamaiva tvam juhomi swaha. So Mahanarada Upanishad nodidra, the gradation Mahanarada Upanishad is that ultimately one by one, you are just brought taken into the Atma Jyoti. And the Atma Jyoti, as long as we are breathing, our life is Ardram Jolati. It's always burning, but you need not put any oil for that. There is already natural oil being put. That is exactly what you call the period of life. ಆಯುಸ್. ಈ ಆಯುಸ್ಸೇ ಆರ್ಧಂ. ಸೊ ಆಯುಸ್ಸಿನೋದನಕ ನಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲಗಳು ಅನಾನುಕೂಲಗಳು ದುಃಖಗಳು ಸುಖಗಳು ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಪಾನೀಯಂ ಸಮರ್ಪಯಾಮಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ ಪಾನೀಯಂ? ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಎಲಿವೇಶನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಲೀಫ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ನೆಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಫ್ರೆಶಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್. I think I can stop here. I'm going further. So we have to do some from 8th and another 4 more mantras are there. Ultimately, as you see that the Omkara Upanishad is separate. But in 8th mantradalli, our Mandukya Maharshi is trying to slowly lead us from our sleeping state and trying to give you the knowledge of the Atma. And what is that Atma at the 4th stage, the Turiya stage, is Omkara only. And there you will see Akara, Ukara, Makaras. That is Rigveda, Samaveda, and Atharvaveda. What is Rigveda? Reception. What is Samaveda? Entertainment. What is Atharvaveda? Moksha Prapti. That is Swaryanto Napekshante. Those people who have got all comforts, they have no more desire. They stop their desires. When you stop the desire, that itself is said to be the emancipation. An old citizen, older man, senior citizen, taken to big malls. ಇವಾಗ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮಾಲ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಜಿಕಲ್. sometime in ಬನ್ನೇರುಘಟ್ಟ ರೋಡ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ವೇರ್, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ. ಐ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸಾ. ಆ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಸ್ವರ್ಗಂ. ಸ್ವರ್ಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆಯೋ ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. But you are getting everything, all magic, all mosam, all this, that. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ that is what is called mundane experience, avidya. But ಅದನ್ನು ಮೀರಿ, when once you get out of the mall, you will see the natural thing, cars going, road going, rain coming and sun appearing. This is exactly the moksha. But as long as you are inside that such a beautiful electronic mall, you are wondering. That's why, so those people who come to America for the first time, they start wondering. First experience will be the airport. The airports in America are all carpeted, look very beautiful, very decorative. Now in Bangalore airport also is becoming like that. Anyway, so we'll just come to note down the other 4 more to understand what Mundukhyopanishad is. Mandukya is going. But before that, let us try to note down what are the insights that are being provided to us in the Mundaka Upanishad by the father of Mandukya, by Dr. Shashi Tiwari. Welcome to you. I'm saying again, sending the flyer for your understanding, so you can log a note. I stop here. Om Swasti Sahana Vavatu. ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ. ಸಹನೌ ಭುನಕ್ತು ಸಹ ವೀರ್ಯಂಕರವಾವಹೈ ತೇಜಸ್ವಿನಾವಧೀತಮಸ್ತು ಮಾ ವಿದ್ವಿಷಾವಹೈ. ಓಂ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ. ಹರಿ ಓಂ. ಸರ್ವಂ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣಾರ್ಪಣಮಸ್ತು. ಶ್ರೀ ವೇದ ಪುರುಷಾಶೀರ್ವಾದೋಸ್ತು. ಓಂ ತತ್ಸತು.